We had another eventful day in the markets today. We need to talk about it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and if you want a squirrel to like you, just act like a nut. This video is jam-packed full of talk about the indices. I got some different stocks that I'm keeping track of that I think are worth your attention, and I'm also going to give an update on crypto as well, so stay tuned for that. If you want to see how I'm playing this market, I'll tell you about the Patreon, my options course, and then also if you want to learn how to do technical analysis like I do, there's also a technical analysis course that I'll tell you more about for how I'm profiting from this market. Let's take a quick look at the economic calendar from today. What do we have today? We had the JOLTS report. JOLTS went pretty well for us. The market sort of sold off anyway, so it's kind of what was expected, and yet we still saw more market weakness. Now, mind you, I said that we'd have natural settling in the markets. I still think that we're sort of seeing that, even though I think that we're still getting sort of soft landing-ish type scenarios with some contractionary measures that we have for these ISM numbers that came out today, including ISM manufacturing prices. So that is something that could fill out a narrative for us over time, that maybe we leave soft landing and head towards the deflationary side of things, which might not necessarily be the best for us. I do want to move over to the technical analysis stuff, but I will tell you real quick before we go and cover that, tomorrow, Challenger job cuts at 7:30 a.m., ADP employment change at 8:15. Got to watch for those in 8:30. We have initial jobless claims. Those are all going to be big for us as we're still looking for that soft landing scenario to play out in order to keep the bullishness going in the markets in the near term. So let's move on from there. We're going to go over to the charts. I got SPY for you. So looking at SPY, you can see that we returned down to the support level that we have here, and that happens to be right at about 468. And what does that mean for the RSI, for the momentum of the market? Still in bullish territory. I did talk about the bearish divergence that we had, that the prices were going up, the momentum was going down, a drop was coming soon. The drop happened, and we're still in bullish territory for SPY. When we go to QQQ, we are right at that 50 line, and we have a significant sell-off happening in the Qs. And so that was another one still. The bearish divergence was there. I said we could see the sell. We did. Apple most certainly helped us out with that because they took a big plunge, and being a $3 trillion company, that is one that is absolutely going to affect something like the NASDAQ 100. So big tech certainly had its hand in also moving this down and coming down and touching that line. Tomorrow, according to the bread recipe, if you're not sure what that is, watch the Stock Mode channel or check out the technical analysis trading course down in the description. With the moving averages that we have here, with the RSI that's here, it is possible that tomorrow's that day that we finally cross below 50 and we get a further sell and we sell down below these levels. Maybe we even come down and we cross down to 396 or possibly even lower, maybe down even to 392 by the week's end. We're going to have to watch for this thing to see where we start turning around. It is also possible that we bounce off 50 after all this selling, because that is a significant amount of selling that we've been through, that we actually start to bounce and turn back around and retest some of these resistances that we have, and then we head back up. So we'll go ahead, we'll take a look, we'll see. I don't think it's the doom and gloom period for the markets yet. I think it is a period of settling after this rampant climb that we've had that took place from October the 27th all the way up until, where did we peak out at this thing? December 28th. Is where we finally hit that peak before we started selling a little bit, people cashing in on their profits, and I'm sure that they're rotating their portfolios at this point in time. Let's move on to IWM, tracking the Russell 2000. According to what we see for the crossing of the moving averages, the 5 and the 13, not yet crossed yet, and we are up above the 50 EMA and SMA and up above the 200, so this is still bullish. This IWM does track the Russell 2000, so these are our small caps. They are going to probably overreact to these sell-offs, as you can see right now. And today we crossed down through 196 where I thought we would hit, and we actually crossed down to 194. And you can see where that takes us across these peaks that we have here, finding that support, coming in with those historic levels. And the RSI is also darn near that 50 right now. Crossing down below that, we could see further dropping. Bouncing off of that, we can come back up and we could retest resistances, especially for IWM being 200. Capital One Financial, I talked about it in my morning video this morning. It is one that we're starting to see the momentum falling off. The prices were rising. We could see a drop. We saw a little one today, but we did buy back into that, closed up above 130, almost 131. This yellow line up here is 132. This one's on my radar. I'm watching it. It doesn't say that it's quite ripe yet for any sort of short. We don't know that we're going to get it. It is possible that we end up falling back down to this trend line, so I'm watching for that one because that can be a heck of an opportunity. Trade Desk, an update on that one. I said that was right for a drop. We got a decent drop today. It did recover a little bit. We're still in perfect positioning as per the bread recipe. Like I said, link down in the description for that, for the technical analysis course. We have the 5 and the 13 crossing. The Bollinger Bands actually look pretty good. Sort of settling a little bit. We dropped down below that average that we had on that. And we're also down below the 50 EMA and SMA. We're down below the 200. All those are bearish signs. We're in a bearish channel. We're in bearish momentum territory. This thing could possibly fall. No guarantees, but it is something that absolutely could happen. The one weakness that I would say is that if we're expecting strength coming along in advertising, trade desk, TTD is the ticker, is one that could capitalize on that. So we want to keep that in mind as we watch this play out, and we want to see if we do continue downward or if we find support and then we start traveling back up and retest the top of this bearish channel. I am currently bearish on trade desk, as you see here. Eli Lilly had talked about this formation also in this morning's video. We got good volume today and we broke out through the top of this thing. It is possible, given that volume, that we come and we try out this previous peak that we had, and that was at about 628. So watch for that continued bullishness for Eli Lilly going on in the markets. I think that it could most definitely continue in that direction for the next day or two yet. So we need to watch for that with maybe some profit taking at the end. We're going to have to wait and see. Roblox, this is one that I actually did capitalize on. I took profits today on this 68% profit. I bought this Wednesday or Thursday of last week. Held on for another day into today, but given that the market is volatile like it is, I thought that 68% was a decent profit for me, but it is still showing that a further drop could most definitely happen, given that the RSI on the daily chart just crossed down below 50. We have the 5 that strongly crossed, is now crossing the 13 as we have here. We are still up above the 50 EMA and SMA. That could be where we find that strong support coming in at about $40, which is also a really nice round number support for Roblox. So keep your eyes on that one. It could possibly drop more. Tesla is definitely worth mentioning in this, and I will tell you about Tesla in just a moment because I do need to take a quick break to tell you about my Patreon, because I have my Tesla stock price prediction that's going up very soon. I believe tomorrow I'm going to be posting that over at the Patreon, so be on the lookout for that. My buys and sells are available at the Discord, which is available through the Patreon as well. Also, I do my Nvidia stock price prediction and earnings projection over there as well, and I have my options course that I'm building out. All that value packed in to the Patreon. That link is down in the description. And then also down in the description, you can find the link for the technical analysis course that we have. There's even a Discord that goes along with that, where you can talk with me, you can talk with Stockmo, you can talk with the other community members that are over there, especially about the very popular bread recipe that people are posting their results from that, and they are very strong results. Even though it's not necessarily a winner every time, it's a winner a lot of the times, and people are experiencing a lot of success. So go ahead, check out that link down in the description. You can thank me about it later. About Tesla itself. Tesla, short term, man, we're looking at the weekly chart right now, and I'll tell you the thing to watch, and the reason I started with the weekly chart is the RSI for the weekly chart. We are right at 50. I have the RSI 12 on here. I'm sorry, I have the RSI 14 on here, and for this, we are right at 50. So we are on that borderline between crossing down over. It could be something that's bearish for us. And if we go to the daily chart to see what is happening on a shorter term basis, the shorter term trend, we actually did enter bearish territory. We're right in between. We closed pretty much halfway between the EMA in red and the SMA that's here in blue. And so right now, we're kind of stuck in a limbo type territory, and we do have a 5 and 13 cross that's up here. It is possible that we see further near-term weakness for Tesla. We're going to be on the lookout for that. Now, this Fibonacci retracement level that I have on here is coming in at 223 is about what I have that, but that's also near the 200-day, and that 200 days at about 230. So we're going to be watching for Tesla to see where exactly we catch support. We are at a decent level of support right now at about 237, 238. We want to keep an eye on that one for that support to hold. It could hold. It's a definite possibility, and we'll see what we get leading up to earnings. If we get a price rally leading up to earnings, we could possibly sell off in earnings once again. If it is one that we actually swing low on this thing leading up to earnings, then it's possible that earnings isn't received so bad and then we would march back upwards. We're just going to have to see, but we do have some near-term bearishness on the daily chart and the weekly chart. I'll go back to it for just a moment. Watch that momentum. It is decreasing over time, and we do want to see if we cross back down below 50 on the weekly chart, because that can signal a longer term downtrend for Tesla. So keep your eyeballs on that. I am a long-term investor in Tesla. I have a long-term position in it as well that I build out over time. I dollar cost average into it, but I will use options plays in either direction on Tesla if I find it appropriate. Quick update on Nvidia. Cup and handle play, man, we're really deeply penetrating into this handle part of this. We're not sort of had a false breakout, if you will. It looked like we were starting to move on it, and the market just had its own way of handling things. And I said the market bias was most definitely going to impact what we see happening with Nvidia. And if I go down to the hourly chart, look how well we're riding the top of this trend line that we have right here. If we get the bounce in the markets, if we bounce off the 50, this could possibly see some levity and come back up off this value and return back into the 480s. Maybe we see up to 495. 500's up there as well. We would need to see the strength return to those markets. I think inflation report that we get is also going to be huge for the CPI and the PPI, which I believe comes out next week, the 11th and 12th of January, Thursday and Friday. So be on the lookout for those. I think that those are our next major catalysts that we have in the market outside of the jobs reports that we have this week, including non-farm payrolls, which takes place on Friday. Very much worth talking about, paying attention to. Bitcoin dumped hard today, but man, it came back into what we see here for the trend lines for this symmetric triangle pattern that we have playing out for us. So right now, staying alive. But I'll tell you what, man, that was a scary moment, a scary day. Check out Ethereum and what it did. So let me zoom out a little bit on this. This is the hourly chart for Ethereum. It actually dropped down below the trend line that we had and currently is residing below the trend line, which means that this trend line that we have is acting as resistance for us, and it's possible that we get a further dump from that. AVAX, I talked about the head and shoulders pattern that could potentially play out, and man, we got it. And I said about luckily having the 50-period EMA as support. We caught it as support. We bounced back off that in a healthy way. We'll see what ends up taking place with that. We have crossed on a daily basis down to the bearish territory for this, so it is possible that we see further selling. We're going to have to wait for Bitcoin ETF news to happen, and if once again it gets shut down another time, then this thing's probably going to dump hard with the rest of the crypto market, Bitcoin included in that. And most likely tomorrow I'll be setting up my new positions as I see where we see the RSI going on many of these, especially the overall indices, sort of being put in a limbo spot. It was hard to take a position today, so I sort of abstained from that. I will tell you my results of that, by the way, just so I can continue to share those with you. And I do share those results over at the Discord as well. So then Solana dumped really hard as well. Check out the technicals on that, though, that we broke down through this blue trend line, still had support coming in at about $85 per SOL token, and then it came back up, and right now we're trading right around that $100 mark as we significantly recovered it with those crypto prices. All right, so about results on this thing. I mentioned Roblox. Roblox, I cashed in at 68% profit after holding it for about a week. I don't remember what day I purchased it originally. As a matter of fact, that one I think I purchased on Friday, but I did change accounts with it. And as I cleared out one account and switched to another account, I closed early on a Friday. And I think I may have closed that one evening. I had to check, but the option that I did take was a 68% profit on that. And then I did a few just small day trades today with a few in between moments that I had. I didn't get a chance to post those, but that also worked out very well. And I don't have the percentages, but I will tell you that it ended up being right around $200 just for a little bit of messing around in the markets. And that wasn't so bad for a few minutes work, actually, to watch those take place. And that's one of the nice things about technical analysis, is that as you put the time in to learn about the technical analysis, learn about the market movements that you see, learn how to read the charts, you can employ them, put them to use, and really amplify your portfolio in that way using the technical analysis. That course is down in the description. I made the videos, a little options series to go in with that technical analysis course that Stockmo has provided, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm eager to share that with the community that's over there. Check out that link down in the description. Come on over and join us in that Discord and really learn about technical analysis through that course. I think it really is a wonderful opportunity. It is the bread recipe, something that I use myself every day. As a matter of fact, all 3 day trades that I made today went using the bread recipe, and they worked out. Each one of them was profitable for me. So moving on from there, the Patreon, you want to see my buys and sells, check out that link for the Patreon down in the description. I post those over in my Discord. You can talk to me and my community members every day. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. As always, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.